Hey everyone, good to see you. Different type of video this time. It's going to be a painting one, mainly because the last video I did, there was a particular miniature that I was missing that I really wanted to be able to set all those trees off, so I thought I had better get round to him, because this little fella has been sitting on the shelf glaring at me for about a year. So I'll stop monkeying around and get on with it. First thing I've got to do is touch up where some of the spray undercoat didn't quite reach. Now, I do realise that one of the things that I have not shown you how to paint is animal fur, and essentially that is exactly what this is going to be all about. There's going to be a goodly amount of dry brushing involved in doing this one. In fact, anytime you're doing fur, that is certainly my go-to method of doing it. But on a gorilla there are sort of flesh areas where the fur doesn't cover, and I just want to do a bit of a dry brush in grey on those just to get a bit of depth on the model. Get the ears there. Now, I don't profess to be the world's greatest painter, so this certainly isn't going to be competition quality, but as long as it looks good from 3 feet off the table, I am perfectly happy. And the less work that we do to get the greatest effect is fine by me, and that's pretty much, as you've seen in the rest of the channel, my mantra for all things. And if some of those highlights seem a little bit harsh, don't worry, because they are going to be getting knocked back with a wash later on. Just remember that when you're dry brushing, you want to be catching the sort of raised edges, so because the fur runs down, I want to be brushing across. The good thing about dry brushing is that the coats of paint do tend to almost dry, and because it's all going to be fur, then it doesn't matter if it's still a little bit on the damp side as you're building the layers up, because it's just going to blend in and make it look more natural. Now, normally with animal fur down at sort of 28mm scale, if it was a wolf or something like that, chances are I would only be doing, you know, like a single coat of dry brushing. But because this is such a large miniature, I'm going to do a few different colours and basically work it up. So swapping up to a lighter coat of brown, and I'm going to be using that for basically every area that is kind of flat if you're looking top down on the model. You'll see what I mean. So I'm not going on the undersides, it is on those top areas like that. And I'm now into using the lightest of the browns, and this is just for the very topmost areas, just to grab a wee bit of a highlight, just so that all that fur's got sort of nice gradient to it. I'll just pick out the eyebrows with that, and those puffy cheeks. Now, I was toying with the idea of making him a silverback, but I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% certain that my painting skills are up to the task. So, in order to smooth out those highlights, I'm now going to make up a watered down black wash. I'm going to use 2 parts pigment to 1 part water, or there or thereabouts. Mix that through, because obviously gorillas do have very dark approaching black fur, well, depending on the species of gorilla, but this one is one of the darker furred ones. And we'll just give him a complete wash head to toe, just to get everything knocked back and blended down. Okay, just to catch up on what's been happening. All of that black wash has now had a good chance to dry, and I also put some colour on the base because, well, it needed to be done, and it does certainly set the miniature off far better. I have also done the eyeballs, which is something that I don't normally do but is necessary for a miniature this size. I didn't film that basically because there was no way that I would be able to see what I was doing and have a camera in there because it's really recessed. But hopefully it'll come out on the photos. So, apart from ground cover, the last thing that needs to be done is the mouth. And I am going to get, this is old elf flesh and a wee spot of pink. And then I'll just do the inside of the mouth like that. And just be really careful not to come out onto the gum area. And yes, I am doing the tongue at the moment, but I will be going back over that in a slightly different shade just to make that stand out. Okay, that one is dry, so let us add a little bit to the mix and we will do that tongue. And I'm just going to add a wee bit of red to the mix, and hopefully this doesn't come out too red. Yeah, that's kind of what I was after. And just fill in that tongue. Next thing I'm going to do is pick out those teeth just in white to give them an undercoat away from the black. Almost at the last part. And I am just going to use some flesh wash just to give definition on all of the areas around that mouth and the teeth, just to knock back those really bright colours, blend it all down and get it a wee bit more natural. And the very last part of painting, I'm just going to use some bone white just to pick out those individual teeth. Okay, well that's all the painting done. Now the only thing to finish this model off is to get a little bit of vegetation around that base just to pretty it up and give it a bit of spot colour, and then it is on to some photos. I won't make you watch me doing that, you've seen me do it plenty of times before. Yeah, sorry if I woke you up there, but if you're of a certain age you just know that had to be done. And I bet I know which video clip you're going to be searching out to watch next. But before you do that, it would be appreciated if you could subscribe to the channel. Click to get notifications. Pop a comment down below if there is anything else you want me to cover. Hit the like button, that would be absolutely smashing. But until next time, ching, I shall see you. Ta-ra.